Good morning, collective. I have a message for you guys. So, last night I had a dream, right? And I had a dream I was standing like in front of, and this was really weird, right? But I was standing on like an empty plot of land, and it was like there was nothing there, like just a little bit of grass, a lot of dirt, and there was only like maybe a handful of people there, but it was a ribbon ceremony. So like when you if you've ever witnessed like companies breaking ground, like how they put the shovel in the ground and take the first little bit of dirt out the ground and then cut the ribbon and all of that, that was in my dream last night. So when I woke up today, I'm like, okay, what's this? Now, this was a message for me, but I also feel like because I did a video yesterday explaining to you guys that I'm a part of the collective and we're all connected in some way, shape, or form, the new moon in Aries was a ribbon cutting ceremony for those of you that allowed yourself to do the inner work and actually split from 3D to 5D. Now, this is going to be really big moving forward. So this morning, I'm kind of asking my guides, like, hey, what's going on? And I'm hearing the word acquisition again. And I'm like, okay, why is this coming up? And they told me that that was the first quarterly review. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So, back, if you are not aware, back in the new moon in Aquarius, I did my energy update where I post the picture and then I write the review. And in the review, I spoke of merging with source and how we were getting out of the old programming and how it was an acquisition phase as we're merging with source. Well, it came up again a couple weeks ago, and I think it was sometime around, it might have been the new moon in Pisces. I don't think it was the full moon in Libra. It might have been before that. However, you can go back on my page and watch some of my earlier videos where I had mentioned acquisition. I put it up on the page, so or up on the screen, so you'll be able to see it. But my guides let me know that we just closed out our first quarterly review. And for some of us in the collective, we've done so much work and we're manifesting things and we're trying to create longevity, sustainability for the future for us and our families, whatever the case. And how we take care of ourselves moving forward is going to determine how the rest of the next 1 or 2 years play out. Now, granted, we are in the year one. Okay, this is a year 10. Numerology, it can be a year one. This is a new beginning. However, new beginnings can be rough, especially in terms of this still being a year 10 and or 1. We're still closing, we're still ending, we're still finishing and closing that phase out and learning as we go on. So all of this is kind of unfamiliar to some of you, okay? Including myself. So how we take care of ourselves in the next phase of our new life is how we manage our business, right? We're going to have to make sure that we have the right people that we trust. We're going to make sure that we have the right support, the right resources, the right equipment to do whatever it is that we're trying to do. And for a lot of you in the collective, you might be called to become an entrepreneur. You might have a spiritual gift or a skill set that requires you to create your own stream of income for you to be able to be independent and all of that, right? So now a lot of us are looking towards creating something for ourselves, which could be a business. But this new life, we are going to have to be so very meticulous in how we move through this new space, how we are carrying ourselves, and how we are creating new habits and bringing consistency to it. Because what my guides told me is that every quarter of this year, there's going to be a review. Okay. And it kind of makes sense because, just for the simple fact that we're coming into something new now, it's really unfamiliar territory, but Spirit needs to make sure that we're doing the work. We're going to get quarterly reviews. They're going to be checking in on us. And we might even come to certain scenarios and situations in our life where we're going to be tested. The people that we cut off, the people that we closed ourselves off from, they may possibly come back. And this is also a warning because Mercury retrograde is coming back up right before spring equinox. We have, or I'm sorry, summer solstice. We have a 2-week shadow period during that time, right before summer solstice. So when summer solstice starts, we are having, what is it? Mercury retrograde, and also Chiron will transit into Taurus at that time as well, which is going to be huge around stability and creating the life that you want for, the rest of your life. And so kind of just be aware of how certain things pop up, and also understand that we're still in a closing phase for this year. And I talked about that with the new moon in Pisces, that, we were going to be closing things out until we get to the full moon in Pisces, which will be at the end of August. So we're still closing, we're still reviewing, we're still going through the phase of, some of you might still be on the fence about who you want in your life, or the people, places, and things that you want to detach from. So now is really an indicator to let you know that a lot of this is going to be, probably the first time that you do it, or at least the first time that you're giving yourself the permission to walk through unfamiliar territory. Okay. And as far as the ribbon cutting with my dream last night, it makes a lot of sense, especially when a company is breaking ground for the first time. This is your new timeline. This is you breaking ground on your new foundation and having to treat yourself so carefully that you and you also have to understand this too in terms of money and abundance. Your money and abundance lies inside of you, and you might have to unlock it. You might have to go through the feelings again, go through the deep emotions, chuck through the muck again, right? You're going to have to heal some of those wounds if you haven't already. But when you are able to dive deep into yourself and to pull all that shit out that you haven't validated or recognized all these years in your life, you're going to start noticing that the treasure lies underneath all that. You have to dig inside of yourself for that treasure. And that treasure, that currency, that money, that ambition, that the abundance, the blessings, the prosperity, all of that lies within you. So as long as you continue doing the work, you're going to find it. You're going to unlock it like an Xbox achievement. I just heard that ding, the little notification that pops up on the TV. That's what I'm hearing with the little X, and I see it too. So a lot of us are unlocking an achievement, unlocking something for the first time, right? And as we are breaking ground, as we're coming into something new, we can start building that foundation with new types of belief systems, new values, things that we want to take with us into our future, right? So this is just a reminder to be careful with how you are engaging with people, places, and things outside of you. And this was a message for me that hermit mode will always be important. And reclusive doesn't necessarily mean that, I am an introvert. I've always been. And just because you're reclusive doesn't mean you want to isolate yourself in a negative way. You want to isolate yourself so that you're preserving your energy, knowing how to redirect it, and giving yourself the time to create either a plan of action or maybe do some research on doing something new for the first time. So if it feels like you need that space, especially now that we are in Taurus season with the stability and the leisure and the comfortability, allow yourself to have the space for you to be able to do that now, okay? And hermit mode is going to be really important until we actually come to the full moon in Scorpio. Now, this is going to be real big as well, because the full moon in Scorpio is actually going to help us put things to rest. It's going to help us dead things. However, we need to be very careful of that energy, because sometimes Scorpios can be vengeful. Okay, they can have a negative aspect about themselves where they tend to lash out on others, just for the simple fact that, Scorpio is ruled by 2 signs, Pluto and Mars. Okay, but as a fire sign, as a water sign, Scorpio doesn't necessarily tend to have something to do with the water. It has to do with the sand or the shore or the desert place that the Scorpio actually inhabits, right? So now